Have you seen, heard, or thought about the headlines in the news lately, especially regarding unusual records of extreme and unpredictable weather, or the many natural disasters that we are witnessing in our lifetime? We are constantly witnessing direct effects of global warming. There are several examples that I can think of that off the top of my head that have happened recently, which have been catastrophic to several communities and the environment. Global warming is unfortunately the biggest threat that we are being faced with today, and it is a pressing issue that we need to address as soon as possible. I personally have researched climate change and global warming on numerous occasions. Last semester specifically, I enrolled in a course offered at URI called Climate Change in the Oceans, or OCG 123G. It is a grand challenge course. Throughout the semester, I learned some mind-boggling information regarding the rise in temperatures and correlations to the oceans and the habitat surrounding it. This is relevant to you, my audience, because this is a urgent and pressing issue that we are faced with on a daily basis, and it has had catastrophic consequences and will continue to have catastrophic consequences. Today I will be talking about global warming, its effect on us and our planet and the life surrounding us. Progressively, I believe that the Earth is getting angrier as it warms, and it is sending out warning signs as it does. If we do not recognize these problems now, we will have limited solutions and options in the future. Global warming has negatively impacted Earth in a series of ways. The planet has been reacting to an increase in temperatures globally, and the consequences are starting to catch up to us. The average global temperatures are rising, and scientists have estimated that the Earth has warmed roughly 1.5 degrees Celsius. While that does not sound like a lot, it actually is, and is very damaging. As sunlight reaches Earth, some of it is reflected back into space, and some of it is absorbed and re-radiated as heat. When there's an increase of CO2 and greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, that therefore means there's an influx of heat that is being reflected onto Earth. Plants, trees, flowers, and wildlife cycles are all starting and blooming earlier than expected. The atmosphere is drier and there are more droughts occurring, which additionally increases the vulnerability of the environment. The ice caps are melting from the increase in temperatures. According to NASA and their GRACE missions, they have been working to show ice sheets in Antarctica and Greenland specifically. While collecting data, their records show that the ice sheets in these surrounding areas have been losing mass, and they have been deteriorating since roughly 2002. Their data has equated to roughly 150 billion metric tons lost per year of mass in Antarctica, and roughly 270 billion metric tons lost in Greenland. When you think about these numbers and you think about these numerical values, you can really depict how catastrophic the global rise in temperatures are. There's also an increase in wildfires, tropical storms, there's heat waves, and abnormal and unpredictable weather. According to the Center for Climate and Energy Solutions, climate change and global warming is a key factor in increasing the risk and extent of wildfires occurring in the western United States. Not only in the western United States, but it is slowly making its way to the East Coast. Warmer temperatures and drier conditions can help these fires spread and make the environment more susceptible to that spread, and it makes it harder to manage and put out. Climate change has enhanced the drying of organic matter in forests and in the woods, which has unfortunately doubled the amount of large fires from 1984 to 2015. You can only imagine how much more and worse it's gotten now in 2023. Alongside that, the frequency of the strongest hurricanes, which are known as the categories 4 and 5, have all increased and doubled since 1980s, according to NASA. This is just a small portion and a small example of what is going on in the world today, and the effects are not only causing more erratic weather and climate, it is also affecting the ecosystems. Climate changes and global warmings are causing extinctions of various species and is rapidly changing the ecosystems and the environment around us. Ecosystems are being damaged and disrupted due to the global rise in temperatures. Animals are failing to adapt to the growing changes in their environment, which is causing an increase in threats and an increase of threats of extinction towards various species. Specifically, coral reefs. Coral reefs are bleaching and dying. Our oceans and aquatic life are extremely vulnerable to the smallest differences in temperature and then in their atmosphere. When I was enrolled in that class last semester at URI, I had to watch a documentary called Chasing Coral, where they had a scientist called Richard Beavers. He was sent out to the Great Barrier Reef to study the bleached and decayed skeletons that were left and remained. Within the last 30 years, we have lost roughly 50% of the world's corals. And in the Great Barrier Reef specifically, we have lost 29% of the corals there. As the temperature increases, marine life becomes extremely vulnerable and is affected by the smallest differences and changes in their environment. As the ocean, our ocean actually absorbs roughly 93% of the heat that is trapped by greenhouse gases, which directly correlates to why there's an accelerated rise in sea levels and sea temperatures in our oceans. According to World Wildlife, the WWF Living Planet Report of 2022 found that in less than 50 years, the world has lost 69% of mammals, birds, fish, reptiles, and amphibian populations. Many land animals promote healthy habitats that capture and store carbon to further prevent global warming or just maintain the environment. Animals like tigers, elephants, and sea otters, although they are also included in the marine life, they also contribute to capturing carbon in our atmosphere. And when we have less of that, we have less in our food chain and in the cycle. There are things we can proactively do and start for future use to slow the changes that are happening in front of our very eyes, fortunately. We need to work together to rapidly reduce the carbon emissions in the atmosphere and protect the planet that we have. There are many ways we can alter and be proactive and change our behaviors to benefit the earth. First, we can decrease our plastic use and practice more reduce, reuse, recycle habits. I know that in supermarkets now, we have slowly been working towards a more eco-friendly option. They are charging for paper bags. We no longer use plastic bags. They encourage reusable bags. So just be more conscious of engaging in more eco-friendly options and work towards reducing your carbon footprint as an individual. We also have windmills as an option to be proactive. Wind power is the largest source of renewable energy. We will always have an infinite amount of wind power, which does not cost a lot of money, and it does not require a lot of resources as some of the other options that we have available to us. Alongside that, we also have another form of renewable energy, which is recognized as solar panels and solar energy. This has become a more popular option recently. Instead of investing in oil, you are investing in a more eco-friendly option and a financially sustainable option for your household. You are not only thinking about the earth, but it's also gonna benefit you. These are only a few ways that we can work together and protect the earth. The earlier we are proactive, the better for the environment. As we wrap our thoughts up, we should consciously think about the consequences of our actions and work towards altering our behaviors for the sake of our environment. We talked about how global warming is increasing in extreme and in severe weather patterns and disasters are occurring globally. The environment is rapidly changing ecosystems and causing threats of extinction to various species here on Earth. Fortunately for us, there are ways that we can slow the warming of the planet and be proactive and choose options that are more eco-friendly. Global warming is a pressing issue that we cannot continue to ignore. If we do not put a stop to it now, we will never be able to reverse or begin to reverse the effects that it has already had on our planet.